So, I did, a few vlogs on, well, not a few. I did part one and part two on, my infertility journey, but this is going to be about my, PCOS and, my endometriosis and my thyroid problems, my high prolactin, and the signs and symptoms that led me to believe that I had them, and even the symptoms that I had after I was diagnosed with all of these medical problems. So PCOS. So at first off, 2 years before we were trying to conceive our daughter, and I didn't care. I wasn't tracking my period. I used to be 32 to 34 days clockwork. Never missed a period ever. Never in my life. Like, unless I was pregnant, never missed a period in my life. So, always 32 to 34 days. I knew that if my period had not come, I was definitely pregnant. So, and I never had any trouble. I was lucky in conceiving my other children. So, but I was 30 years old at the time when this started to happen. So, I thought, okay, maybe it's my age. I'm 30. Maybe my periods are just slowing down. They're, and I didn't care. I actually laughed with my girlfriend and said, hey, I didn't get a period in 2 months. I'm not pregnant, but hey, I didn't. She joked around and said, hey, maybe you're going through premenopause. And we joked about it. We laughed about it. But afterwards, I cried about it. And it wasn't a joke. But at the time, I thought it was. And I didn't know how serious emotionally it would take a toll on me 2 years later. So anyways, the symptoms were I started not having periods every month. And then when I would have a period, I would have like TMI bright red. Like, I mean, it looked like somebody had like cut your hand open, and that color of the bright red blood, you would bleed. I'd have it so heavy, not with TMI any clots, but just that the whole month. And I'm like, why is it so red? And then, anyways, I just thought, maybe it's because I didn't have a period in a couple of months and whatnot. So then me and my husband said, hey, let's try to conceive, and at that time my periods started coming back more regular, so I was having a period every month, but I didn't know I wasn't ovulating at the time. So we started trying to conceive, and I thought, hey, with my other children, I was blessed, it's gonna happen right away. So in the first month it didn't happen, I was like, oh, maybe we just missed ovulation. And then the second month, I was like, what's going on? Third month, started to get nervous. Fourth month, started to panic. Fifth month, knew something was wrong. I definitely knew something was wrong with my body because I just knew. I knew something was wrong. And the 6th month is when I went to the doctors, and I did another video of my infertility about that. But my symptoms were, when we first started trying to conceive, I wasn't producing any EWCM. I was very dry. I mean, dry to the point where if we didn't use lubricant, we wouldn't be able to have sexual intercourse. And the thing is I was so dry to the point that even when TMI I was aroused, I still wasn't producing any fluid whatsoever. That started to worry me because I was always the type that I did a lot. And then I started on the left side. I still don't know if you can see, but you probably can't see because I'm doing this on my iPhone. But I started growing patches of hair. Could have been there way before and I didn't notice. It started to get worse and worse. Like there was one and then two, three, four, five. I think I ended up with like 7 there. And I was like, why am I growing hair on my face? Okay, maybe it's my age, but at the 6-month mark, I started doing research and I'm like, I think I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. I started to put on weight, so I was putting on 5 pounds a month, 3 pounds a month, then 2 pounds a month, and the weight just kept going up. And then I also would have OPKs that were positive for a week straight. And I mean, on like 7 different brands. And I also was temping and I would never have a spike. Like I would have no spike at all, so I started to worry and I bought the book Taking Charge of Your Fertility, which it's a wonderful book. If you're trying to conceive, buy it. It's great. I love it. And anyways, I started growing hair on my chest too. So I brought this forth to my doctor, all of these symptoms. And then I also started spotting for 15, I don't know if it was the endometriosis, but I started spotting for like, I would some months not have a period at all. My periods ranged from 32 days to over 100 days. And I would sometimes spot for like 15 days straight, like nothing you would need like a panty line, like just not even a panty liner for, but just when I would go to the washroom, TMI, and wipe, there would be a little bit of brown on the toilet paper. And also too, then I would start to have periods where my period, the color of it was like, could range from brown to dark red to tar. I mean, like, who has stuff coming out of them like looking like tar, you know? And I'm not the typical person that has endometriosis that has very painful periods, because I wasn't getting much periods, but when I did, I didn't have like painful periods. But I was diagnosed through so many different tests with endometriosis. I also had hyperlactin. I can't remember the numbers. I believe it was in such the high range where my doctor said, "Are you lactating? Because these numbers, your breast should be engorged." And I said, well, I leak a little bit sometimes, but I thought it was just because I have other kids. And even though they're a little bit older, I thought that maybe that was the problem. And she said, no, your prolactin is seriously high. So she did more tests and whatnot. And then I also too had so many cysts on my ovaries, and that was from the polycystic ovarian syndrome. And then I also had which would you call it? I had a fibroid in my uterus, and all of these things were like, if I wasn't trying to conceive, I still would have noticed them. And then after 2 years of us going completely crazy with not knowing what to do, and my doctor not wanting to put me on Clomid, and then we were going to see a fertility specialist. And hitting the 2-year mark, my doctor said, give it 1 more month, and if you don't conceive, we'll put you on Clomid. And I said, well, what's the difference if you put me on Clomid now or you put me on Clomid next month? Like, you're just wasting time for me. And she said, well, you have not had a period, so we're going to give you, right now I can't remember the name, but it's those little white pills you take, and you take them for, I think, 7 days or 10 days, and then they induce you to have a period. So I tried everything. I tried Fertilate, I tried you name it, every supplement out there. In the 2 years trying to conceive, I tried it. Nothing worked. If anything, I believe a lot of the supplements that I took caused my symptoms to worsen. So I came across soy isoflavins on the internet, and I saw such good reviews, and I said to myself, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give this one try. And I said, this can't be right. Like, everybody's saying they got pregnant within 3 months, 1 to 3 months taking it, with all, after trying for like some of them like 5-6 years, right? So I bought it. I ordered them off Amazon. I took 100 milligrams of the capsules, 250 milligrams from cycle day 2. So my induced cycle from those little white pills. They're like progesterone. They are progesterone, but I can't remember the name of them. So I started cycle day 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I started noticing I ovulated on cycle day 20, and I noticed that I wasn't having dark OPKs like I was the other months. I just had 2 days of dark OPKs, and that was it. And I actually had 5 days for the first time trying to conceive in those 2 years. I had so much EWCM that TMI, I put my hand under my, you know what, after peeing, and my hand filled up with cervical mucus. It was just unbelievable. It was unreal. And so we continued to make love and baby dance. And I don't know if it was the isoflavins. I have no idea, but we tried everything else. And so I my husband went out, like I said in the other video. I got mad at him. He bought me a rapid result instead of the early result, first response. I took it on cycle day 11. I was just ready to order more OPKs, the Wanfos. Ladies, the Wanfos are the best. I just love that brand compared to any other brand I've tried, and I've tried so many. I love them. They're amazing. But back to what I was saying. So cycle day 11, I took a test, and it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and because I got mad at him, I wanted him to return it, and he was going to, but then a few days later I hadn't returned it. So I took it, and I just said, you know what, this is going to be negative. There's no way it is going to be positive. And I went to the bathroom, and about 10 minutes later, who waits 10 minutes when you're a pianistic addict? No one. But this time I was giving up. And when I saw those 2 dark lines, I literally almost fainted. So I don't know if it was the soy isoflavins. I don't know. I'm guessing it was, because I never produced that much. It's either luck or those isoflavins. But my point of the story is ladies, if you feel there's anything wrong with your body, you push your doctors. If you have any questions, just ask me and I'll answer them below.